Welcome back, Nightdwellers, to Simple Dark Stories. I'm your host, Mothy, and tonight we reach the final part of Dancing Embers with part 3. The forest has grown darker. The flames now burn with intensity that cannot be ignored. Talulla stands at the edge of an impossible choice. What started as an innocent escape turned into a night of possession, fear, and sacrifice. In this final dance, both souls and sanity are at stake. Get ready to face the fire, because tonight, the embers hold more than secrets. They hold fate. Are you brave enough to stay with us till the end? The creature froze, its head snapping up as it listened. The voice came again, clearer this time, and Talulla recognized it instantly. It was Lynette's voice, the real Lynette, calling out to her from somewhere in the darkness. "Lynette, help me!" The creature hissed in anger, its grip tightening as it tried to silence the voice, but it was too late. Talulla could feel the presence of her friend, the real Lynette, somewhere close by, trapped but fighting to break free. With a surge of strength, Talulla pushed the creature off of her, scrambling to her feet. "Lynette!" she cried out, her voice desperate. "I'm here!" The creature lunged at her again, but Talulla was ready this time. She dodged to the side, grabbing a branch from the ground and swinging it at the creature with all her might. The branch struck the creature's head, and it screamed, a high-pitched, inhuman sound that echoed through the trees. "Tal!" The voice came again, closer now, and Talulla knew she had to act fast. She turned and ran, the creature hot on her heels, its footsteps pounding against the earth. The voice guided her, leading her through the trees, deeper into the forest. Talulla's lungs burned, her legs screamed in protest, but she didn't stop, didn't dare look back. Finally, she burst through a small clearing, and there, standing in the center, was Lynette. This Lynette was different. She was pale, almost translucent, her form flickering like a ghost. Her eyes were wide with fear, her hands outstretched, as if reaching for something, someone. "Tal!" Her voice weak but filled with hope. "You found me." Talulla skidded to a halt, her heart pounding in her chest. "Lynette, is that you?" Lynette nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "It's me. I'm trapped, Tal. The spirits, they took me, but I'm still here. You have to help me." Talulla took a step forward, but the creature was already upon her, grabbing her by the arm and pulling her back. "She's mine," it said, its voice twisted with rage. "You can't have her." Lynette's ghostly form flickered, her face contorting with pain. "Tal, please, you have to fight it. You have to save me." Talulla struggled against the creature's grip, her mind racing. She had no idea how to fight this thing, no idea how to save her friend, but she knew she couldn't give up. Not now, not when she was so close. With a cry of determination, Talulla grabbed the creature's wrist with both hands and yanked as hard as she could, pulling it off balance. The creature stumbled, and Talulla seized the opportunity, kicking it hard in the stomach. It let out a gasp of pain, its grip loosening just enough for Talulla to break free. She turned to Lynette, who was now just barely visible, her form fading in and out of existence. Talulla's eyes filled with desperation. "Lynette, how do I save you?" "The fire," she said. "Send it back. It's the only way. You have to burn it." Talulla's mind flashed back to the campsite, to the fire and the smoke woman that had taken Lynette. It made sense in a twisted, horrifying way. The fire had been the source of the smoke, the source of the spirits that had claimed Lynette. If she could destroy it, maybe, just maybe, she could free her friend. The creature was recovering, its eyes blazing with fury as it advanced on Talulla. She had no time, no chance to start a fire here in the middle of the forest. Then she remembered something. Lynette's lighter, the one that she always carried in her jacket pocket. Without hesitating, Talulla reached into her pocket and pulled out the lighter, flicking it open with trembling fingers. The tiny flame sputtered to life, casting a faint glow in the darkness. The creature's eyes widened in fear, and it took a step back, hissing like a cornered animal. "You can't! I'll kill you both!" Talulla's hands shook as she held the lighter out, but she forced herself to stay steady. "Let her go," Talulla said, her voice stronger than she felt. "Let her go, or I swear I will burn you to ashes." The creature snarled, though it didn't move, its eyes locked onto the flame. "You wouldn't dare," its voice dripping with venom. "You'd kill her too." Talulla hesitated, her heart clenching in her chest. What if it was right? What if burning the creature meant losing Lynette forever? Then she saw Lynette's ghostly form flicker again, saw the fear and pain in her friend's eyes, and she knew she had no choice. Tears streaming down her face, she said, "I'm sorry, Lynette. I have to do this." And with that, she threw the lighter at the creature. The flame caught onto the dry leaves and twigs at its feet, and in an instant, the creature was engulfed in fire. It screamed a blood-curdling sound that pierced into the night as it writhed and thrashed, trying to escape the flames that consumed it. Talulla stumbled back, her eyes wide with horror as she watched the creature burn. It clawed at the ground, its once human form disintegrating into a cloud of black smoke, but the fire kept it contained, crackling louder with every second. As the flames raged, Talulla caught sight of Lynette's ghostly form, flickering at the edge of the clearing. Her friend's eyes were wide with both relief and fear, the firelight reflecting the translucent tears streaming down her face. "Lynette," Talulla said, taking a hesitant step towards her. Lynette raised a trembling hand, shaking her head slowly. "It's too late, Tal. You freed me, but I can't stay." Talulla's heart pounded. "No, Lynette, I can't lose you again. Please." Lynette's form began to shimmer, fading more and more with each passing moment as the fire that consumed the creature roared brighter. Lynette's voice was now distant. "Thank you for saving me, But I belong to the spirits now. This is my fate. You have to let me go. Talulla's chest heaved with sobs, her legs nearly giving out beneath her. She wanted to run to Lynette, to pull her back into the world of the living, but her friend's form was slipping away, faster now, barely a shadow among the smoke and fire. "I love you, Tal," Lynette said, her voice no more than a whisper on the wind. "Live your life for me." And with that, Lynette's form vanished completely, dissolving into the night air as if she had never been there at all. The fire, now smaller and more controlled, crackled softly in the eerie silence that followed. Talulla collapsed to her knees, her sobs echoing into the empty forest. The weight of everything that had happened, the horrors of the smoke spirit, the loss of her best friend, pressed down on her, threatening to crush her under its weight. For what felt like hours, Talulla remained on the forest floor, tears soaking into the earth. The night had grown quiet again, as if the spirits had retreated with Lynette, leaving Talulla all alone with her grief and the sound of the dying fire. Finally, she pulled herself to her feet, her body heavy with exhaustion and sorrow. The clearing was still, the remnants of the fire smoldering in the center. There was no sign of the smoke woman or the creature that had stolen Lynette from her. It was as though the nightmare had been nothing more than a twisted dream. But Talulla knew better. She turned, her steps slow and hesitant, and began to walk back to her car, the weight of her loss settling deep in her chest. The trees loomed around her, their branches twisting and turning in the moonlight. But Talulla paid them no mind. Her thoughts were elsewhere. On Lynette, on the bond they had shared, on the terrible fate her friend had endured. When Talulla finally reached her car, she hesitated, her hand resting on the door handle. She glanced back at the forest, half expecting to see Lynette's ghostly figure standing at the edge of the clearing, but there was nothing there, just darkness. She took a deep breath and opened the car door, sliding into the driver's seat. As she turned the key in the ignition, the engine roared to life, breaking the silence that had settled over her. For a moment, Talulla simply sat there, staring out into the night, her mind swirling with memories of Lynette, of the campsite, of the smoke woman. Finally, with a heavy heart, she put the car into gear and drove away, leaving the forest and her friend behind. Talulla did not speak of that night to anyone. She carried the weight of Lynette's memory with her, a ghost that haunted her in every quiet moment. The loss was deep, cutting into her soul in ways that words could not express. Every now and then, when the night was still and the wind whispered through the trees, Talulla would close her eyes and swear she could still hear Lynette's voice, faint but unmistakable, calling out to her from the other side. In those moments, Talulla knew that even though Lynette was gone, she wasn't truly lost. Not completely. That concludes today's episode. Join us again next week for another spine-tingling tale on Simple Dark Stories. If you enjoyed this and would like to help out, please give us 5 stars and tell us what haunts your dreams. Until next time.